Big thanks to our podcast sponsor, Hair Care Australia, for getting on board with us for our first season. I have worked with this company for such a long time and have seen such growth within my business, and I have felt very lucky to work alongside them in my business as well as working alongside them in our podcast. Thank you, Hair Care.
Episode 4. I have to fully disclose right now that we were quite far into recording this before we realised that we weren't recording this.
Motherfucker. Anyway, let's start again and make this even better, Jen.
Yeah, even
Episode
better.
4.
Coming in hot
with
Sharelle
from Miss Lash. One of
Hello,
my
everyone.
favourite humans on the planet.
It makes me feel so nice. Thank you.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's so exciting to have you here.
Thank you.
As I said previously when we weren't recording, I am actually really excited about today because
I know you're extra excited now.
I'm extra excited. Because I think it's really nice to get that perspective from someone who's worked with Samara in Salon Rising as to what that is actually like from an outside perspective.
I'm also just going to put a preface here that this is just not about me. I myself work with a coach and mentor in a different type of space. I work in more in the energetics field. And I think that this podcast isn't just about working with me. It's about working with a mentor or a coach that feels completely aligned to you. I think that's the important as well.
That's a huge one.
There's lots of people out there that do different type of stuff, but it's like, how can you work with the right person for you? And I think it's also very important for me being a mentor is how can I also work with the right people? It's the same in our industry. How do we work with the right clients, those dream clients that feel great for us? This is the same way. So as much as we'll be speaking about Sharelle's experience with Salon Rising and how we got to know each other and how she's absolutely bloomed over this, this is also an insight to why you should work with a mentor and a coach and what a difference it makes to you as a human, as a business owner, as a hairdresser.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we start, first of all, with a bit of backstory about Sharelle. So tell us how long...
I've been in the industry for 8 or 9 years now, and obviously lashes and brows. And I started when I was really young. So I started when I didn't go through school. I stopped school, knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that was beauty. And then I just went into beauty and did massage and facials and then got more into the cosmetic side. And yeah, I just fell in love with lashes and brows. And it was funny because I actually hated lashes.
Really?
When I first started, I hated them.
I love how our business is called Miss Lash.
Who would have thought?
thought?
No, so I think I started doing lashes in my probably at 3rd year of beauty. And then I was like, I'm sick of doing facials and massage and all that. And I just wanted to grow in lashes and brows. And I think because I got in so early, that's why I've made it so big and made it so well known, is because I've gotten in super early, which is good. And I've just been
so young.
Very young. I'm 24.
Building this business.
Yeah, so I'm excited for what's to come.
Baby.
What's going on?
Also, can we take note that she's sitting there twirling an eyebrow? Is it called a spoolie?
It's a spoolie, yeah. So you're just gonna,
She's just like currently like.
I can't have my brow. Like, what if my brow was like this? And I was like the whole time, and I'm like, I would not be okay with that. Like, that is not cute. And then hello everyone. I have a brow business.
Says the hairdressers. Have you seen our hair today? I was like, do I wash it? Nah.
Great intentions, always.
Super great intentions.
Yeah.
Love that.
When did you actually decide to go into business on your own though? So you started out working for someone?
Yeah, so I worked for 2 salons. I worked for my first salon I actually started with this massage and facial person that my friend Shay that has Naked Brow, her social media manager and everyone that does the stuff that she does, I worked with her. So, so me and Shay have known each other for ages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, small world.
Small world.
So I worked for that lady for I think a year, and then I worked for another person down in New South Wales, and then I thought, you know what, I'm getting busier and busier because I started it from home, so I was working like in my 1-bedroom apartment with my little massage bed, and then I was just getting really busy, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing this, and then I was sick of working for someone, so I just thought, fuck it. I'm just going to do it.
One of the things I love about
Yeah.
Sharelle is when she's made a decision to do something. Like if I have to push her to do something, it's never going to get done.
Yeah.
But if she's just made a decision, she's like, I'm fucking doing it. Done.
Yeah. It's all about your mindset, hey?
Is she a manifestor?
I have to look at her chart again. The talking human
I think
design.
I am.
She's also a mini me. So once she's made a decision, she just like full
Instantly.
fucking ball.
Well, you can see that. Like, I love that. It's like, I just knew what I wanted to do. So I just left school and went to do it. It's like, I love that.
I know,
I love
right?
that it's like, well, I really like this and I want to
Yeah.
do that. So I'm just going to do it.
Well, what's the point in staying in, like, I mean, staying in school, but like, what's the point if you don't want to do, like, if you know exactly what you
Yeah.
want to do, what's stopping you from going to do it earlier?
Absolutely
Like, I've just gotten
right.
way ahead. Now I feel like I'm way ahead.
I think this is also, when it comes even to this, it's such an important conversation for us as mums with children. You know, for me, I just want my kids to be doing something that they fiercely love. Like, so often
Yes.
have we gotten pushed into careers, going to uni, going to, like, I was going to do a business degree, which I didn't know what the fuck that was going to end up looking like. Like, hilarious. I'm now a business mentor. But it wouldn't have got me where I am.
No, not
And
at all.
I keep saying to my kids, I just want you to do what you love. So the fact that you left and you were just like, I'm going to do something I love, and you are fiercely passionate about what you do, shows you can make money doing anything as long as you love what you're doing.
As long as you love and you have complete passion for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
you're not gonna. It's like, I was listening to this book the other day. It was The Power of Consistency. You should read it because it's really good. And I thought, fuck, this is so good.
I do talk about consistency a lot.
And they were talking about, like, I'm probably going to butcher how this is said, but you have like a flat pack for a motorcycle and you only have the bits for the motorcycle in there. You're not going to make anything else, right? So if you know exactly what you want to do, you're not going to do anything else. Like you have
Yeah.
a tunnel vision. I probably butchered that, but
No, agreed.
But
Do you
you're
know-
not going to build an airplane out of a
yeah,
motorcycle.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you know exactly what you want to do and you've got nothing else but that goal in place, you're not going to go fucking do something else. Do you know
That's
what
why
I mean?
it's so important when we talk on goals to have
Yeah.
something in mind for that goal. Otherwise, you just feel like you are flopping around, hoping
like-
for dear God.
Yeah.
And going to that, speaking on goals, and you and I have achieved some huge ones.
Oh, we have. Goddamn.
Some shit out of the park. Okay, so how do you think it was like July last year that you and I met?
No, I think it was sooner. I think it was April last year.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
been together nearly a year.
Clearly, you don't like
No,
our
I don't. I
relationship
do
as
not
much as I do.
But
Okay,
before
so,
that,
oh, hold on, Jen, we're
Hang
getting
on.
ahead of ourselves.
just
Jen's like,
calm
Let's
this
down.
is my
pull ourselves
podcast. Shut up.
No, it's not. But before that, because obviously we want to go into like when you guys met. So let's just talk about what was going on within your business, within your life that sort of led you to the path of
Yes.
seeking out.
Samara.
Yes.
Okay, so I was with another business coach and it was good. It was just not in a way that I felt like I was reaching my goals as much as I knew I could. Like I was like, okay, I'm learning, but I'm not learning as much. And I really wanted to I had this tax bill and it had the biggest weight on my shoulders, like so much. So then when Shay, who owns Naked Brow, when she started talking about tax and how she was talking to you, and I was like, I fucking need her. I
This
need
is
her
the
in my life.
information that I
Yes.
need.
And that's when I start to felt like, okay, there's the alignment. I'm starting to align. I'm starting to vibe. And I hadn't even met you. So I was just like, okay.
I actually didn't even have a business at this point.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
No,
you were just
I
doing it
had
on
a
the-
salon, but I wasn't meant to. I
No.
just had like dabbled in it.
You
Yeah.
were mentoring. It was becoming its own beast.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
really was.
I was just doing
You
it.
just hadn't recognized it for what it was yet.
Yeah, I just did it when I wanted to do it because it would sound like a good time.
Exactly.
And then we had our first date. I remember
We did. It was blind. It was blind. It was a blind
It was
date.
a blind date. I was like, let's meet up. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, let's go to Tart because I really wanted the chicken sandwich.
I thought she always comes here because she knows exactly what she wants.
It's like, I'll have the chicken sandwich with avocado, please. It's the greatest sandwich of all time. So, if we ever go on a date, take me to Tart.
Yeah. You've been well.
And I remember meeting you that day and you were just, as I was talking through things, it was just like that overwhelmed of holy shit, there's a lot going on.
We've got a lot to dive into.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was like, we've got a lot, but I cannot wait
Yes.
for this, because I just knew from like, I don't know, you get that overwhelming feeling of like, okay, this is right. You know how you just feel like, I was like, I just know that this is going to be great.
I remember driving away and being like, I think I text Rich and was just like, I think I rung Rich and was just like, oh my God, I love her. I'm obsessed. I think Wilder was like 5 minutes. It mustn't have been April because I had a baby in April. It must have been like
maybe just after that.
Just after that, because I had a brand new baby, but I was clearly excited to do this. See you, baby. And then I think you and I both texted each other being like, yes, this is so good.
Let's go.
Feel so good.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, just that one chat, I was just like, okay, already, like straight away I just knew.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a vibe. Like, I don't know.
It was just a connection.
Yeah.
We just understood one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. And then I think we worked together for a little bit. And then that's from there. I honestly think you were the one that inspired me to really move into this business.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew the change I could make.
Yeah.
I could see the kind of pain and the struggle that you were going through and related so hard.
And you know what? So many people do. Like, I'm not the only one.
No.
It's ridiculous the amount of people that have the exact same feeling as I do and the exact same struggles as I do.
Man, I was there. I remember it. I got goosebumps. This is what pushed me into doing this work. Is like, I remember being there and just feeling like I'm drowning and I'm not successful. And do you know what we put over the top of that? Ego.
Yeah,
we had some major. I actually just did a thing on this, a story on this.
Because that's what's really important to talk about as well, is that there are so many people who feel like, and that's why it is really important to have these conversations, because people are sitting there like, I don't want everyone to know that I'm struggling.
Yes. Yeah.
They might think I'm a failure. You know, like that whole mental just holding pattern of like, just smile and pretend, but it's
I'm totally killing it. I'm like so happy and I love my life, and it's like a duck, and then
the duck with
underwater.
The
you're
paddling.
like, fuck my life. I'm pedaling for dear God, and no one's gonna help me. Like
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking, just put on a brave face. You look like you've got this big business, but really, I was fucking drowning. Like drowning, and thank God you saved me. Like, fuck. No, honestly, like if I did not have you, like I do not know. I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, I don't know. We're packing tissues.
I know. I feel a bit emotional as well. Yeah. So I just love it.
No, I seriously mean that. Like honestly, I think that I don't know where I would be today without you.
Hold your support water bottles.
Hold my support water bottles that Sharelle gave me. Look, I remember, like for me, I posted about this the other day when my best friend did this with me, and I remember going, exactly the same way. I had that ego piece of being like, I've got this great business and I've got stuff, and look at me go, and I'm flourishing, and I was like, I'm so fucked. Like I was in such debt and didn't know how to get out, and I wanted to look like it was all together because no one wants to feel like you're failing.
No, but I think it's important for both of you to acknowledge as well that you actually both were flourishing. There was shit going on underneath for sure, and it was overwhelming and it was stressful, but you were still flourishing and growing. It was just all the stuff that was sort of stressing with you.
I think it was all the, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, like with so many different areas and simple things. But until the simple things got broken down and then you could make sense of it, i.e. fucking tax, like until you could make sense of that.
But you see right there, you saying that, breaking everything down, like the way you explain things, the way you show things is so easy. And then that's what also led me to work with you as well. It's like, I understand this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
you talk to an accountant and you're like, what the hell did she just say? She just threw out a whole lot of like letters.
What? And numbers and shit. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, for me, in the beginning, it was just that, literally the simplicity of my best friend being like, you have to do it like this. And you're like, huh.
Is that all?
That makes so much sense. Okay.
And no one tells us it. So that's why it's so good that you are here and you are doing what you're doing, because so many people need that. Yeah. And thank God that you have, because I mean, who else is?
I wish, I was lucky enough to have a best friend who knew what she was doing and could get the help and pulled myself out of it. And felt like I became successful, but you also want a cheerleader as well. Like I would go to her each week and be like, look what I did. And she was like, yeah,
and you need
is
that.
you and I too.
Yeah.
It's like, I did this. And I'm like, oh my God. I was in my pantry the other day and one of my clients that I'm working with right now sent me through her figures and she said to me, you told me that I've just got to get my ass into it this week and work. And I fucking worked and look what I did. And I sent her a voicemail back and I was like, I can't speak. I feel really emotional. I was like picking out some tiny teddies and shoving them in my face. But, you know, it's just like you also want someone to see your wins and to see your achievements. And we cheer for our staff and we cheer for our clients and, you know, we're working on goals, but you want someone to see that and recognize that and like
and
push
because
you.
you're the boss too, like obviously you're the one, you want someone to keep yourself accountable too. Because if you're keeping your staff accountable, that's what I feel like all the time. I'm like, okay.
It's like, and then you
Such
turn
a
around,
voice.
it's like, but
Who's keeping me
behind? It's like a little back rub situation train.
Yep.
Who the
and no
fuck's
one's
doing
rubbing
you?
your shoulders.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, well, okay, cool.
So then it's the same when our staff become flat and they stop selling retail or stop rebooking or stop recommending. We do the same thing. Like we get to the point where we're just like, I'm tired. I don't want to push this any further. But then without our pushing our people don't thrive either.
Yeah.
So it's like it has to be this like, you know, this whole self-led piece at the moment of, you know, you having someone that you can be accountable to. This is the coaching, the whole mentoring space, right? It's having someone that you can be accountable to and cheer for you so you can do the same for your people, or you could do the same for your manager and your manager can do the same for your people. Even if you're working on your own, you need someone. Because I promise you're coasting. Like it's the amount of people that I've worked one-on-one with that they're doing okay, but they're coasting. And then they work with me and they're like pushing themselves.
They're just like, oh, this is okay, because they don't have that person to be like, you can go higher.
You can go higher.
You can go way higher.
And you think about that. If that's an extra $1,000 a week, that's $52,000 a year. $52,000 just for an extra $1,000, which is I've seen it happen.
They should be teaching in school.
Oh,
yeah.
Amen.
So, you know, just watching, it doesn't have to be just working with big teams or teams. It can be individual as well to make such a difference individually. And everybody has their different demons. Like some people are really good at some areas and really struggle in others. So it's like this work has to be done across kind of all the areas and to be able to see what you're struggling with most.
And get help with it.
So what did you think your biggest struggle with was coming into this? What do you think your biggest changes?
My tax.
Yeah.
It was my 100% my tax, because that was the one thing, like, I don't know, you never, like, you always know, some people always know the 20% you put it away, but I'm like, how do I work it? Like,
I still don't think that makes sense.
Like what? Like I still, like, I get it to the point you've showed me the way where I feel confident in being like, yeah, I got this. Like it's all good. I've never ever felt like that before. So the fact that I do feel like that is really cool. But that's the one thing that I was like really scared of, and I wouldn't even look at my numbers. I wouldn't even look at anything like that. And I was like, I'll just do brows and lashes and just keep, you know, bringing in money, and then I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I was just doing what I was good at.
And this was when you were working with someone else too.
Yes.
And by the time you came to me, how much do you mind sharing numbers?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so how much were you in debt with tax?
Oh, we were in, like, I'm talking 160 something. And let me tell you, like, that is the biggest weight for how old? I was only like 23, 22.
Yeah.
23 when I first met you. And like, I mean, for younger people as well, like $160,000 is a lot of money. Like
$160,000.
That's not yours as well. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm screwed.
Like, now, was this when you first met, or was this when you actually came in to do the program?
No,
like,
this is when we first met. Like, I remember our hardest thing was that tax bill.
Yeah.
So even just saying, like, what's going on, and even being able to diagnose, like, who are you working with? What does that look like? What kind of income's coming at the moment? Like, how do we tackle these things? But our tax was the one thing.
The tax was the one thing, and that had been the one thing from day dot, even when I was working with another coach, and that's all I wanted to do, and it was just not getting done. So I was like, well,
why am I doing this?
Why am I doing all this stuff? I'm not understand. There's a lot of information. I'm not understanding any of it. I don't get any of it. My number one thing, I don't care about anything else right now. I want this $168,000 gone.
Yeah.
I don't want to have this over my shoulders, and I don't. Obviously, when you're in business, you keep like. It's not just $168,000 and just that amount. you go more and more into the years. Like, you know, you keep doing your business every year.
This is the biggest thing, and this is one of the biggest things I learnt. And what pulled me out of it was, you think I have 160,000, so I just have to pay off the 160,000.
Time goes on.
But then you have another BAS bill comes in, another pay as you go comes in, another income tax comes in, end of year tax comes in, BAS comes in. They're all probably, they're similar things, but all of that starts coming in. Then you go, okay, well, I have paid off this much in that tax, but then another 30's gone on, and another 20's gone on. And so you're just like constantly paddling. So what you have to learn is, how do I pay the past tax off, the 160,000, and at the same time
prepare for what's
the next
coming.
tax coming in? Like you can't just be paying the old tax. You have to be paying.
Time doesn't stop. As much as I wish it did, it does not stop.
So you've got to be putting the new tax away as well, because otherwise you are just constantly on a payment plan. So I think that for me, you know, we'll go back a little bit, but that for me now, when I see your accounts and see that there's, do you want to share that number? How much is sitting in your tax account now?
Oh, it's 30 now.
30,000 sitting in your tax account.
And like, what? But also that is not my money.
That is not her money, yes.
And I'm now in the mindset of, that's not my money.
I can't take that out of there to pay.
Yeah.
You know, I always say you can't steal from Peter to pay Paul. You can't take out of your tax account to pay for a different bill, because then when the tax bill comes in, you've got no money to pay it. So we've been really strict on that. So also in that, you've been paying off like $2,500 a week to your past tax. So we worked out, and that was a couple of months ago now, or a month ago, maybe 6 weeks.
I had a meeting with my accountant on Tuesday last week, and so we've got to get rid of my personal, there's income tax and activity statement. They're down, which I'm fucking proud of. One's sitting at 57,000 and one's sitting at 21.
Wow.
So the fact that like that is down, I'm like,
from 160.
Insane. So I feel like, obviously $2,500 putting away each week
is huge.
Like, it's fucking hard. Don't get me wrong. Like,
mate, been like, that's the thing is, once you've decided on this, I remember doing the same thing. It's like knuckling the fuck down and paying nothing else.
Tunnel vision.
And just like, and you knew, I was like, this is not a quick fix. This is time. So like, how can we absolutely focus and just, because it's not, you can't take anything else. I'm like, I'm having to push you hard to get these things paid off, and you've had other things you need to pay off as well.
Yeah.
But like, how can we simplify this? How can we get this paid off? What are our budgets so that we can actually do this? But the coolest thing is your tax bill. But have you had a BAS bill come in again yet to put the 30?
It'll come in soon.
And you'll be like,
and I'll be like,
paid, bitch.
No, I won't be like that, but I'll be like, fine here.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, you know, we restructured how you were paying things and how you were paying yourself a wage and putting your taxes away as well. So, you know, that makes a massive change into,
I also want to talk about as well, because I had my nan working for me too. And which was not.
I didn't know if you wanted to bring this up.
Yes, which was not.
This is the first thing we did.
Yeah, this was the first thing. It was a hard thing because I had my nan working for me full time as well as a receptionist, and love it a bit. Love her, nothing against her one bit, but I shouldn't have had her. I should not have had her in that business, paying her over $1,000 a week for nothing really to come back into it. And I think that's where I would have gone down if you didn't say to me, let's take the family out of it.
Hard conversation.
Hard conversation.
So I remember being like, okay, so who works for you? And you were like, it's me and Nan and Holly. And I was like, okay, what's Nan do? And then I was like, I really need to know what Nan actually does. Sharelle, what does Nan do? And I was like,
I don't even know what Nan did.
I was like, do you realise what you're paying Nan a week to do this? And she was just like, and look, I love that about you. Your loyalty and love for your humans is so massive, but it was completely pulling you apart. Your business would have gone under.
100%, 1,000%. That would have gone down.
Yeah.
And see,
So
a
the fact that
situation
she
like
had
that is actually another example of where it's great to have that person that you're then accountable for, because it helps in those hard conversations, right? I'm
Nan.
sorry, Nan.
Samara said that I have to
I love you. You're lucky she loved you, because I was like, oh, fuck, this conversation is going to go down so hard. But I was very hard on myself as well. But she was very understanding. She knew it as well. She was like, Sharelle, but I was just like, oh, I just want to have you in the business and I want this to work and I want you to be stress-free. my heart was in it too much. But when it comes down to business, you can't be saying, oh, you know, it's okay when you're paying someone $1,000 a week and nothing else is really coming back into that. It's the conversation has to be had.
Yeah.
Which is shit. But I was just like, shouldn't have done it.
And once we did it,
that's
you were
huge.
like, it's a weight, like it's done, it's dusted and it's a weight. And
$1,000.
the whole hard conversations, mate, it was a hard conversation to come in but it really changed your business.
Oh, massively. Massively.
And just having someone else look at that and be like, okay, this is not okay.
This needs to change.
But if you want to hire me, I will be. Everyone was like, I want to be Sharelle's nan. Richard's like, I'll be Sharelle's nan. I'll do whatever she needs. But yeah, that was an interesting one to start with, just having someone else look at it.
Because we started on that too, and you were probably like, what the fuck?
I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, how do I tell this beautiful human to fire her grandmother?
That was so hard. Oh, God. But it's okay. No hard feelings. She understood 100% because she knew it as well. She was like, you shouldn't be doing this. But she was just like, I just wanted the best for her. But then at the end of the day,
so beautiful and so commendable.
it's nice. That's the whole reason I wanted to get her onto the team, is just so she could live a stress-free life. But at the time,
meanwhile, putting herself into the more stress you've ever seen in your life.
dumb
That
dick.
duck's bill was just above water, still smiling.
Yeah, good times.
Hey, Salon owner friends, let me talk to you quickly about Rising Finances, the program I have created just for you to conquer financial confusion and master your numbers. Inspired by my very own journey, I'm here to support and guide you every step of the way. Let's walk hand in hand as we break down crucial topics like tax, super, holiday pay, wages, and setting up your accounts. Plus, I will help you find your bottom dollar, price your services with confidence, and provide easy to use personal and budget sheets. I also think it's super important to look into our money behaviors. So this is a topic that we're going to round into as well. Don't let your dreams just slip away. Join Rising Finances and transform your salon into a thriving, stress-free success. Visit our website, sign up now, and let's start our journey to financial freedom. You deserve this. Your salon deserves this, and you need to feel the sense of peace that comes with this.
We're focusing on it a bit at the moment because I wanted to talk about some of the growth that Sharelle has made, which we've kind of gone into. But I think something that would be really nice to touch on, because as you mentioned, you were working with a different business coach prior, and what the differences you found to working with, like you said, when you knew.
Yeah, you just have the vibe.
Like, so what were those things? Like, what do you think you were missing in your other experience that you got from Samara?
I think with working because I've obviously had the two business coaches, both are really great. But I felt because you're creative, right? You're in the industry. You've done it. You've experienced. You know exactly how to break it down, and you break it down in a creative way because you are a creative. And with my other business coach, she's great. She's got a lot of information, knows so much, has such a wide range. But because it's more like of a numbers based, like she has a lawyer's background. So it's very like numbers based. It's very like, fuck, I don't know how to like speak sometimes. So like, I'm like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like I feel a bit stupid. So you're like, yeah, same, like it's all good. So, and you explain things in a way that like I need it dumbed down. So I think it's the way you teach as well. There's a creative way of teaching and like a visual way of teaching. And then there's like, okay, so you got to do this, and this. And like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how do I do that? And like you break it down to like basics. And I'm like, oh, cool. I get that. That's so cool. Like easy. And then I'm like, well, fuck, that's so easy. Why? It's just, I think it's different ways of explaining things. Yeah. And that's why I aligned more with Samara, and that's why I aligned with that, because I understood it quicker, and I was like, well, shit, yeah.
Because for me, I'm still finding that. I'm like, I say to my accountant, like, dumb this down. I still don't get it. And then she'll say it again. I'm like, nah, still don't get it.
One more notch.
She'll say it again. I'll be like, all right, I can start to get it. And then I repeat it back to her. But even for me, like for so long, I was like, okay. And I'd walk away and I'd be like,
no fucking idea. Yeah. And the one thing actually, I noticed was I got everything you said, and I didn't feel stupid. I didn't feel dumb. I didn't feel like I don't actually get that, so I'm going to ask her again. But do you know what I mean? Like, if you, and you knew as well, like I felt like.
I was like, you don't understand that, do you?
You're looking at me
nope.
like,
I'm like, okay, let's do it again. Because I would be like,
sure,
yep, okay.
What?
But I can see my clients doing it because I did the same thing.
Yes.
I'm like, do you? And I was like, if you don't feel like if you don't understand this, you just ring me and I will break it down, because I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And that's why I think breaking that ego down, like there is no way when I met you that you would be like, yeah, I was $160,000 in debt.
Fuck no.
You were just like, no, I'm killing it in life. And I remember saying to you, you have to go on your Instagram. You have to delete everything.
Yeah, that was a real, I was like, oh, fuck.
Because so often.
Wait, you have to delete what?
I'm going to explain it now.
I want to say one more thing.
Okay, go.
Is I feel like with not the comparison, but what I felt more, it wasn't a copy and paste.
Yeah.
With you. I felt like once, like when you were in a meeting with me, it was just me and you and like a lot more than just business. Like there was like goals, there was emotions, there was like, you know, spirituality.
You got it. And that it's so true, because that's leading into what I was saying before. Yeah.
Insane. So I feel like I didn't feel like everyone was getting the same thing. Like you focused on my goal that I wanted to do, and this was that one goal was obviously the tax, and that we're working so much towards that now, and that's the one, like the biggest tier that we're working on, and we're smashing it. Whereas before I had that goal and it stayed here, but it didn't. It didn't, like, you know,
because also it's like working out how, like, you have this goal and then it's like 100 things underneath it to get to that goal. Like it's not just like, let's pay tax off. It's like, how does the business thrive to afford to pay the tax off? How do we make the business thrive?
How do we not go under?
Do different things. Like how do we make everything flourish underneath it? And how do you, are you fully booked out? And all those things that go into it, and the targets. And it's so much goes into.
It's a massive balloon.
Yeah.
It's not just you pay your tax off.
Foundations to build the ladder to get up to that.
Mm-hmm. Not just a one simple, let's pay this tax off. Like it's not like that.
And I think for me, like I have worked with business coaches in this industry as well. Like I did for 12 months, and I ended up leaving and saying to them, like, I'm sorry, no matter how much we try and do this, I feel like a cut and copy for everyone's business.
Yes, and you hear it so much.
And I was like,
exactly
and because I felt that way, I felt like I was completely not being myself as a business owner, and you worked for me at that time. And I felt like I was out of my body, and I was overwhelmed, and I was stressed because I felt like I needed it to be doing it a certain way because everyone else is doing it this way.
Yeah.
So I have to do it this way.
Like everybody else.
But I don't want to do it like everybody else.
Yeah.
Like how everyone, like I didn't build this business because of everything that they're telling me I have to do. I built this business because I'm who I am.
Yeah.
But I just needed someone to help me along the way to see how I can make those things even better and just support me, encourage me through it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly where you're coming from as well.
Yeah. And it is, as you said, it's the energetic side. So, you know, when you and I first met, it was that ego side that I said I had as well. Like I would I don't need to learn off anyone. I don't need to go any courses. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. To the outside world, I'm completely perfect and everything's running fine. It's like that Instagram reality versus like how you actually feel.
Reality. Yeah.
And it's like everything's running fine. I'm just going to keep my head above water and everything's cool. Like everyone's good. And I remember saying to you, you have to drop the ego, babe. And even when it came to Instagram, this is what we were talking about. There was a story on there that Sharelle had put up because
this is so embarrassing. I'm so
no, because
this is a cringe moment.
No, but it's showing your growth because you
100%.
are so different. And when you did that story about you having your tax that day, I sobbed because I was like, you are such a different person. And there was a video that Sharelle put up saying like, you know, I felt like a failure in school and here I am running two thriving businesses. But really still at that time, Sharelle felt like
I was under. I was nearly going under.
But you need that. You almost put this ego side up because you're like, I need to keep myself safe. So I need to tell the world that I'm safe. And then if I tell everyone I'm safe, I will start telling myself that I'm safe,
and
then
then
everything
I
will be
might start
fine.
to feel safe.
And it's like, how do I keep myself safe? And I remember saying to you, delete it. This is not who you are. Like, you need to just be authentically you.
And it's also, I feel like now that I look back on it, I'm putting such a fake side of me up. Like, I look like I'm killing it and I look like I'm doing, but really I'm not.
Mate,
like,
that was me for so long.
Like, I was not killing it. I was struggling, and I was kind of saying to everyone, yeah, no, I'm doing really well, and not needing that like help of like, I just wanted people to be like, oh yeah, she's killing it, you know, like.
Yeah.
But really I wasn't. Like, I was struggling.
Do you remember when we did the vision board and I was like, the fucking vision board's that?
What the hell?
I was like, you need to do a vision board. She's like, yeah, I've done one. She showed it to me and I was like, the fuck is this? This is like the fanciest car ever, and like some pimped out apartment.
That's
and
okay.
We're going
that's
for
later
all
down
those
the
things.
track.
But there was nothing.
It was all unrealistic.
It was all surface. It wasn't unrealistic. It was all surface.
Materialistic, I would say.
Yeah, and it just didn't
Very
feel
materialistic.
like. I was like, what do you actually want? I was like, what do the feelings behind things evoke?
There was no direction.
Like, I was like, if you want a fancy car, fine, but why? And you're like, well, I just do. And I was like, because you want to seem successful instead of like, I want to
I can't wait to be in my like the car and the way it's going to make me feel when I'm driving around in it. It's just like, I just want people to see me.
Yeah.
I just want people to see me in this
100%.
fancy car. I just want people to see me in a fancy apartment. It wasn't like, so then you've done a vision board lately and it's just.
Oh, it's so
and
different.
It's
like, it's still send me the same stuff. Like, I want my own house and I want that beach view. But I had like on my old vision board, I had like the most expensive beach view ever, like the most expensive penthouse apartment. Like, no, Sharelle, you fucking idiot. No.
Let's just start with a house. Build
Let's
up to
just
the
start
penthouse.
with just like an apartment that has beach views. Like, what?
But we do and then no feelings behind that. So it's like, we've got these massive goals. You're like, yeah, I'm going to drive a Maserati and I'm going to be in a penthouse. It's like, okay, let's come back to reality and then like, let's actually.
The dream life. I mean, wouldn't everyone want that?
100%. My sugar daddy on my Instagram, Paul on Instagram, he told me he'd be my sugar daddy. So I don't even need to worry about it. He's just going to give it to me, the DMs. And it's not achievable. Like, if you want to live on the beach, totally do it. But it's like, there's going to be stepping stones, and it's also the feelings behind what a vision board looks like. If you're putting stuff on a vision board just because you want to look fancy, or are you putting stuff on a vision board because it truly brings you a sense of joy? Like, I wanted a pool and I put a vision board on our pool, a pool on our vision board, and literally when we now have one, and it just invokes every time I'm in that pool, it's just like utter joy. I'm so grateful. I wanted a pool because I wanted to swim nude with my kids in the afternoon. Like, I just wanted to like, you know, I did it the other day. I came home from the beach and threw all my top off and just ran and bomb dived. And the kids thought it was hilarious. But every time I'm in that pool, it's like this sense of like, that's family for me and that's joy for me. I've never had it.
That's what you had on your vision board. And now you're living that reality.
And I didn't just want a pool because I wanted to look fancy. I wanted a pool for the joy underneath that it
for
gives
no one
me.
else, because you're nude as well.
Yeah, because I want to swim nude. Come to my house. No one wants to see that. I've had 3 children. Yeah. But it was more so just the joy. So it's like when we put stuff on a vision board, it's got to be the joy that sits underneath the vision board.
But I think that's what comes into you saying as well, like the cookie cutter effect. It's that whole, like, it's that holistic approach. It's like, well, don't just do me a vision board. Do me a vision board and think about the energy and the feelings that come underneath it, right? Like, it's that whole person, whole life perspective.
Remember the night that you were having I remember this night so well.
Oh my God, what?
And we were texting on voice text. And I remember wondering, it was like literally, I remember it was like a summer night and I was walking around my bedroom and you had a really bad day. And you were like, I'm having a really bad day and I don't know what to do. And so we just voice noted.
Probably a lot of them.
No, there actually hasn't been.
No, I will say there has not been.
We just voice noted back and forth. It was pretty much as we just started to work together, like it was fairly soon. And I was like, take a breath.
That's what I do is
I like this. Let's walk through this. Let's like, you've got this and everything will be okay. And you were just like, that's what I needed so badly. But there's been points of that for me as well, where I'm like, you're like, hold on, how are you? And I'm like, I'm a little bit overwhelmed today. And you were like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Like, I've got you. What do you need? I love you. I'm here.
See, that's the thing as well, is it's not just like a one-way street.
No.
You know, like I can feel when you're off and like I want to pump you up because you pump me up. Like, sorry, this is a 2-way street. It's not a 1-way street.
Yeah. And it's also just like, yeah, it's exactly that. I've celebrated so many of your big moments in the last 6 months, but it's exactly the same back. Like you're like having people to cheer each other. I actually sent a message last night about this, and Brene talks about the candle blower outers, and she says like,
what book is this?
It's I always make her read books.
I love books.
Okay, so you have to listen to Brene Brown is phenomenal. If anyone hasn't listened to her, you should be listening to her. She has studies on guilt and shame.
Ooh.
And she talks about with her kids the candle blower outers, and how when they're at school they'll have people that want to blow out your flame, like they won't want to share in your joy, and then you have people that are in your life and protect your flame and just want to see your flame flourish.
Yeah.
So it's the same type of thing. It's like, how do I make sure that whoever's in my corner are in my corner to see me absolutely
protect my flame,
yeah,
watch it flourish,
yeah,
not just let the gap open and blow it out.
yeah, wow.
And I think it's so personal when you are working with a mentor, because so many people, I see them at their rawest state.
That's what I was going to also say as well, is like it's so personal.
So
like,
personal.
And as Helena said on her podcast, when you're bringing someone into your business, like that's your business. Like,
yeah, it's your baby.
You made that from something that was nothing, and you've made it into this big thing, and that's your career. That's all you. That's no one else. And to let someone else in on that, like that, it's big. Like it's not just.
It's also dropping the ego, because you're like, someone's going to see that
the number that was a huge thing.
Someone's going to see that I'm not as successful as what I need to show everyone I'm successful, and I'm going to feel judged, and I have to let my boundaries down.
Yeah, that was a massive thing for me. I was like, oh fuck, like I'm nervous, and because I was drowning, I was like, oh shit, okay. But I also felt right. I was like. I'm not doing very well right now, but I know in the future, and that's why we're here now, is like, wow, like way, 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 way better now.
And you also forget to, like, I talk to the girls constantly about celebrating their wins along the way, because you can come to me and you're like, I'm just overwhelmed. There's too much going on. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And then I'm like, let's take a checkpoint and see how actually much tax you've paid off lately. And you're like, holy shit, I'm boss. Let's keep going.
I know. And that's the one I love this saying is only look back to see how far you've come.
Yeah.
That's the only ever time.
I really like that.
Yeah. I love this saying. I can't even remember where I heard it or where I've found it from, but I love it. And I've said it from day dot is I love only ever look back, never look back to see all your negatives and all. Yeah. In a way, yes, to see how far you've come from all like the strengths that you have put yourself through. Like that's why you should look back.
Yep. Because then we actually go, holy shit.
There's been a lot down that road.
Meet Hair Care Group, the trusted partner of the professional hair industry. They're a proudly Australian, family-owned company with 45 years of experience, founded by a hairdresser for hairdressers. Hair Care Group are passionate about empowering salons and your teams to make their clients feel their best. They know that running a successful business requires you to wear multiple hats, and that's why they're here to help. With a curated portfolio of leading brands, world-class education, and tailored solutions, they're innovating to make working in your business and on your business simpler. Join our community of like-minded professionals and experience the power of partnership. For Hair Care Group, it's more than hair. I can personally say that I have been with hair care myself for over 9 years. And from the beginnings of my business to now, it's been supported and encouraged and inspired along the way. I thoroughly suggest that you get in touch with hair care for your needs.
So I guess now if we we say you guys have been working together for about just over 12 months, right? Like it would be, 18 months?
No, we've been working together like 8 months.
No.
9 months. Wilder's a year old, guys. He's not even a year old. He's 10 months.
Oh, hang on. Are you saying See, I was thinking the year before.
I wasn't pregnant with Wilder. Or was I pregnant with Wilder? When we
don't
met,
know.
I wasn't pregnant with Wilder.
No, I don't think you were. You just had a
Had
baby.
him. So I had him in.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, we've done
Okay,
this.
So we're talking like
Oh my God.
really
9
not
months.
even 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That makes
What?
it even bigger.
Yeah, so
That is
Wilder
huge.
is
Oh my gosh.
10 months. Yeah. Yeah, so we've done this in 8 months, 8.5 months.
Wow.
Dude, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. I love how Jen's like 18 months. I was like, hold on. No.
That's
no,
what I-
okay,
yeah,
8.5
what?
month old.
Okay.
Just
so,
feels like we've been together forever.
Yeah,
Right.
In that case, okay, so that's huge.
That's massive.
I even know what I'm proud of, Sharelle. for the last 8 months. But let's talk about what you're most proud of for the growth that you've seen in Sharelle.
I guess for me, and this is the coolest thing for me, it's seeing how much she stepped into being a leader herself. So
I'm going to cry already.
It's like when I first met you, you were so unsure and second guessing yourself and not knowing where to go. And now it's like you've like fully flourished into this like boss woman of yourself. Like,
but not in a way of like,
no ego.
Yeah.
The difference. Okay. So the difference,
Authentic.
I've said that the difference between that boss mentality and the leader mentality is completely different. Like, she sat in that, I'm a boss and look at my business. And now she's like, I lead my life. I lead my humans. I lead this business to be the best business for myself and not for anyone else.
Yeah.
This is my business for myself.
Yeah.
So watching you step into your power and going, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. Like I said to Rich, I'm so proud of her being able to just step up and be like, watch this, even in the last month or so, you've been like, freaking watch me go. Like, just
I know. I remember
power.
our last conversation. We're like, well, fuck, all right, like let's go.
Yep. Just the power behind it, and it's you leading yourself. I want to mentor people how to lead themselves. I don't want you to have me, and I want you to want me because you need the support and the love. But I don't want you to have me. I'm not creating dependency.
Having a job. It's like the job that you actually want to get fired from.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you've grown
flourish,
so much.
go.
You lead now.
Yeah. You're my human
Actually,
forever, but like you can flourish on your own because you're just doing so much. So that's really, really cool for me. And
That's
also
pretty cool.
The tax is huge. Like
Massive.
the
8
fact
months.
that you have 30K in your
And how
tax
much did we
account.
work out to be that we've already paid off? Didn't we say like 70?
I think it was about 80.
80K
It would have
in
to be
8
if
months.
that's what you've got left.
Yeah,
it would
50.
have to be about
What she
80.
got? 77. Yeah, it's about 80.
Plus also the Amex card. So I had an Amex card that I put this order in for my lash supplies, and then with no knowledge, I maxed it out. And then I was like, well, fuck, hold on.
Again, she said to me, okay, there's another one. And I was like, what? She was like, I have an Amex card. And I'm like, for how much? She's like, it was 12.5.
12.5K.
And I was like, do you know how much you're paying in fees for that card?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is where we're going for right now. So while still paying the $2,500, you then went.
We did it. We did it in under 2 months.
Yep.
And that's what I loved as well as you. And I'm going to be so proud of this, actually. I've done it with my sister and Holly too. And I'm like, okay, let's make a chart. And you did like the $500 increments. And every time I scribbled that off, I thought, fuck yes.
And I loved it. I got constant
me.
videos of like, yes,
Did it? Look how many is to go. We've got more and more.
And then we paid it off like that. And it felt easy. And it was like that visual of creative is huge.
Yeah.
And it felt easy and we did it. Like we were just like, holy shit, we just nailed that
Yeah.
by coming up with all the strategy underneath it. But
And
it's
like
not,
personal
it
as
isn't-
well.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's not a copy and cut. It's not,
Yeah.
okay, you've got this is how you do it and off you go. And like that, I'm not going to be with you the whole time. It's more so of like, and the fact that you say, send me that when you do it, send it to me. And I was like, oh, I'm getting so excited. I'm going to send it to Samara. Like it's cool. It's cool to be able to do that. And
Celebrate
that
your wins.
Exactly.
And have someone else celebrate your
Exactly.
wins.
And
with
that
you.
comes back to accountability. And she would be like, okay, so Samara would be like, how's your board looking? Like, how many things have you got off? And then if I wasn't doing so well, she'd be like, well, you better get working. Like, and then if I did, it was celebrating. So I feel like that was really cool too.
And
And
it was
up my ass and be like,
huge achievement.
fuck.
But underneath all this, again, I'm just leading you to lead yourself because so much of what you did is all on you. Like people think that it is just like, oh, it's just me. I've told you how to do everything. It's also, no, it's you were also taking like, I was like, okay, how about this idea? And I'd be like, go and run with it. And you would run with it and create such waves in what you were doing. And it was in all things that you did. It wasn't just like we've done a lot in 8 months, 9 months.
That's wild.
whatever
I
it
didn't
is.
know it was 8 months.
That's really wild. And see, so because that's so exciting, if you've managed to achieve that much in 8 months, I would really like to know where you see yourself in the next 12 months.
I definitely see myself with my tax paid off
Yes,
and
you did.
me, being like, okay, going to my accountant. I was shit scared of going to my accountant because it's like going in there blind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. But the next meeting that I have with them, I walk in there so confidently and they're like, wow, you're doing so well. I'm like, what? Like, it's so cool. And so the next meeting I have will be, okay, here's the thing that I have to get ready. It's all here for you.
Yeah.
And I'm going
I think
there.
that's one of the most one of my proudest moments, the fact that you've got
I'm
the
going
most
there,
thing
it's
you're
like-
focused in. And to keep it in perspective, it's not like you have thousands of dollars sitting in your other account, because in the other account is where the more money is still going to the tax from the last tax. So you're paying yourself a wage, you're paying Holly a wage, you're paying for the salon, and then you're paying for that past tax, and then you're putting away the future tax. So the future tax account, which is huge, that it's not the same in the other account because the other account's paying the past tax. So it's like the fact that you've got 30,000 sitting in that, because you're like, and the fact that that tax bill comes in and you just get to pay it.
And the different energy that I have going into there is just so nice. And I feel like, literally feel like I weigh 2 kilos. Like, it's not, I don't feel, oh fuck, I'm going to get like completely ruined on this. I'm going to walk out of this meeting feeling like shit. I'm going to walk out of here feeling like, what's the point? You know, I'm walking in there being like, let's go next year. Let's go. Let's have this, like, you know, we're working, and I'm working with a really good accountant now that's like pushing me also.
That was the conversation we had too. It's like, if you don't have a good accountant where you can feel really comfortable with, delete, find someone else.
Goodbye, because it's only going to cause you more stress. And let me tell you,
find your candle holders, and it has to be in the form of everyone that you surround yourself with. It has to be your accountant. And I had a great accountant for years. And then it's like my business got to a point, it was like, okay, it's time to pivot again. So you have to have the awkward conversations. Yeah. And I still love him and what he did for me, but now I had to move because I'd kind of needed something different. And then it's the same with your like banks. Like, we think we can't do things with banks. I have an amazing bank manager that takes care of me for all my things. It's the same with insurances and suppliers. Yeah. Like, you need to create this like hub of humans around you that literally make your flame absolutely bloom, and it has to be in coaches,
and it's evolving
mentors
as well. Like, you don't stay the same throughout the whole entire time of your life. You always evolve. You always, like, you know, new logos, new techniques, new this, new that. Everything evolves. Nothing stays the same.
Otherwise,
if
you
it
feel
did,
uninspired.
Yeah,
you're
gonna sit on this level of,
if you're just coasting, you're actually going backwards. Yeah. So how can you just move forwards slowly? And that's what this has been. It's not, even though it's like such an insane achievement, we haven't gone gung-ho. We are just
it's been 8 months,
moving.
but it's been like,
we're moving.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, I think people get a mentor and they're like, all right, we're working together for 6 weeks. How can you change my entire life in 6 weeks? It's like, okay, well, if you went to the gym gung-ho for 6 weeks and then didn't do anything from there, how do you expect it? You can't build it in 6 weeks.
It's this whole philosophy of taking the long way home. If you take the long way home, you're just that, you know, part of that journey, and you're just trucking along.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
It's literally the journey. It's
you
like,
have to build. You have to take time and build and work on it each day and each week, and then you'll see the results just as
consistency. Again.
Oh, consistency.
Love that word. Love that word.
Okay, so we're going to do this little thing. It's actually...
so you want to buy a house?
Oh, yes.
I actually know that. That's what her goal is.
Yes, that's
she
another
wants
thing.
to buy a house. She wants to save. She wants to pay her tax off.
Ocean view.
So with an ocean view as well. The water, and this brings it to, what does it make you feel on this vision board? I feel so, this is probably so cringe, but I feel so at peace when I look at the water, when I look at the beach.
That is not cringe at all.
Mate, I'm trying to convince my kid to let me move to the beach, but she doesn't want to leave her friends. I feel the same way.
It just, I don't know, you look out and you just think, I'm free.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel so good. And so you wake up in the morning, that's the best way to start your day, is in the sun, in the beach. What better way could you start your day? Like, I would love to look at the beach rather than looking at a wall.
Yeah.
Or like a building. Yeah. Like, no.
Think about when we go and stay in hotels. It's to get the beach view. And
exactly.
to wake up with the water.
How amazing do you feel when you're on holidays and you wake up and you're like,
oh, I can hear the ocean.
I can hear imagine this.
And at the end of the day, if she's been able to pay off 80K in 8 months,
Yep.
Watch this space.
Watch me.
Watch this
And
space.
you know what's
Agents,
really
look out.
crazy as well is I never ever when I first come to you and I thought I am fucked and I have a lot of debt and there's no chance that I'm going to have a house deposit. There's no chance that I'm going to have my own home. I don't think that now. Not one bit. I see myself in my apartment looking out at the beach next year.
Insert the deep inhale.
I do, and I truly, truly see that. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Like, I am an unstoppable in a way of not like, fuck you all, I'm unstoppable. I'm like, let's do this. I'm like, we've got this. We're all in one together and we're going head first on it.
She feels like that. See my leader. See my leader. I just want to mention too, and I think like we need to wrap this up, but I could keep talking about how proud I am about her. But I go to your salon and have my brows and my lashes done. And she has Holly, who's the most amazing human.
The best.
When I met Sharelle, I was like, we have to like treasure her because finding beautiful staff is
it's hard.
And
it's so
Holly
hard.
is just this, I just love her. She's
Just like a little, not little, I should say a huge bright light in a really, really dark space.
Yep.
She's just like, she shines and she just, I have no words for her.
And she's so supportive of you and
Oh.
cheers for you. Like she, again, in your business, if you have candle blower outers, you need to assess that. But she just like nourishes your light and she just wants to see
like
you
still
bloom
to this
as
day,
well.
like this morning she texted me, good luck on the podcast, you'll smash it. I'm like, where did you come from and how are you just so amazing?
She's so amazing. And we've really nourished that. We really want to make sure we nourish that at all times.
Yeah.
And I had my lashes and brows done the first time and it was great. She was peeing out because she looks like Holly looks after me. And it was great. And then I had them done. I offered like some suggestions. And then the next time I had them done, it was just like I was, as in the words of Sharelle, I was shooketh.
I was shook.
I was shook. I was shooketh because the experience was.
I remember after you came out of that experience, like, and then she put these things
Some ice, and then like I was cold, and she realized I was cold, and then she texts me the next day, and just like, and I was like, holy shit! Even the proudness of how that service has evolved, and you guys have got to remember, if the service doesn't evolve, how can you make more money? Because the money comes from the clients, and even now, my best friend comes to you. You do her brows and lashes, and she was with her brow artist for a long time, very loyal, loved her, but couldn't get in, did different hours, and I've convinced her to come over to you, and she's, as you would say, shooketh.
She's very shooketh.
The level of service and how she feels looked after, and she's all in. She's an all-in person. She's very much about how an experience makes you feel, and she's obsessed.
That's what I wanted to say as well, is the same thing goes with you, is because you've taught me how to do that as well. Coming to your salon, I couldn't really give a shit about the haircut, really, if I'm honest. Like, I just want the massage and the tea and the rocky road and the spray. Spray.
That's a new.
You'll read that in my review, but oh my God.
And it's changing things up. So we used to put the spray that we have these beautiful like essential oil sprays on the tray, and no one knew how to use them.
I had no idea.
Everyone just look at it. So now when that people come in, we say like, just close your eyes. Are you okay with essential oils? And we spray it around them, and everybody's obsessed with it. It's just like exactly like I said to you when Holly used ice on my brows after she did my brows.
Can I just add in there, not plain ice. we put like a cotton pad under just so it's nice and soothing.
And it's soothing, and I was like, this is like luxe. And for me, I don't do anything for myself normally. I'm very bad at that. We're bad as women. So, you know, for having something that felt a little bit more special and a little bit more taken care of, and you know, it just felt indulgent and beautiful in a service that normally it's like, let's get it done because I need to go. And, you know, it's the same with you. It's just like that spray, it doesn't cost you anything, but just like changing up the way
like
that
you
you're
had it
doing
there
something
already.
elevates the
Yeah.
experience.
It elevates the experience. It's a new talking point. You are moving forward that 1% so that you're not moving back. And it's just we had the sprays, we just changed them to now spray around a client. Like it's like, how can you move yourself in a way that just increases, like I say in her, that 1% of making everything that little bit better in a way that doesn't have to cost you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive thing to make the biggest difference. It can be the small things.
The small things. It's the small things that make the biggest difference in every area. So fucking bravo, babe.
All you.
It's not all me. It's
well,
all
without
both
that,
of us.
though, like, you've got to give yourself some credit too.
Cheers to our support water bottles. Jen will have to get you one.
I know. I feel left out. I don't have
I'll
a
get you a
support
matching
water bottle guy.
We got to have matching.
We could keep talking all day, obviously, but it's probably time we wrap things up. So we do this little thing at the end of an episode where we like to ask our guests for a journal prompt for people listening to the podcast. So for you, perhaps someone who is sitting on the fence, you know, thinking that maybe they need a coach or a mentor, but they're not quite sure what they're looking for, what's a prompt that you would tell them for their journal that they can ponder
Yeah.
looking into this?
I would say, so you want to ask yourself really is, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And how do you want to achieve them? And talk to different coaches as well and ask yourself that question. Do I align with this person? Is this right for me? Do I feel right that that is going to help me excel the most? And that feeling inside that you have, and write it down as well, will that be the right path for me?
Go with your gut.
Yeah, and go with your gut. And it's all about, it's not just a copy and pasting. And if you don't feel right, if that doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it. Do something that feels right for you. And
I always say, like, reach out. You
Yeah.
know, reach out. Like,
even a 15-minute call like that can make you vibe over.
yeah.
I love Zoom calls. I love to be visual.
Yeah.
And I love to see and interact with that person. Because a text message or reading something, I don't align with that. I don't pick up on energy like that. I want to be in the moment, and I want to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. All that. I feel like that's something for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, even with me, if you're considering it, you know, wanting to work with a coach or mentor, reach out. If you want to have a 15-minute chat, get in touch. And, you know, we have different programs going on, but the work you and I have done is our one-on-one mentoring. So, you know, that's when it's the most direct to your business. But we also have our other programs that you can jump in on as well. But anyway, I want to thank you for coming on our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I can't wait to come back on here in 6 months' time and you'd be like, I'm tax free, baby.
I know it'll
Living in
happen.
my
It'll
beach
happen.
house.
Oh my God. Imagine.
And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to jump on our Instagrams and talk to us. You know, this is the most authentic chat we can have. None of this is made up. We are obsessed with one another. But it has to be, whoever you're working with, it has to feel like this. It has to feel like
And
they
it makes you excited
are
too.
making your flame
Yeah.
just burn so bright.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much. I feel so blessed. Like, honestly, when you said, I want you to be here, I'm like, me? What? She wants me? That's so nice.
She's my protege. I'm very proud of you.
No, from the bottom of my heart, you know, you've helped me so much, and I'll start crying if I go more into it. But you know what you've done, and I just appreciate every part of you.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hair Care Group is a trusted partner of the professional hair industry, a proudly Australian family-owned company with over 45 years in business. Founded by a hairdresser for hairdressers. Hair Care Group are passionate about the industry, partnering with salons to provide tailored solutions that empower you and your team to make your clients feel their very best. For Hair Care Group, it's more than hair.